I have got one question. Is James Bell a member of the Sticky Bandits?
Keith and Dave
from
talk
Home
all
Alone?
things Rugby League on the Dockhouse Rugby Show, with news, match reviews and special guests from the world of Rugby League. Also available in audio format as the Dockhouse Rugby Pod.
Welcome to the Dockhouse Rugby Show. This episode is a special as we look forward to 2023. We couldn't have a special without some special guests, and we're delighted to share this occasion with some fantastic people. In no particular order, we've got Ian Smith, former referee, Mark Dunning, Bradford Bulls head coach, James Bell, Scotland international and Saints player, and Nick Dyer of Teardrops, along with my co-host, Keith Hyland. Welcome to the show, everyone. We're going to have a fun quiz to start the year, but before we get into that, and to extend a warm welcome, I'm going to ask you all a few questions to help introduce you to the viewers and the listeners. So, yeah, in no particular order. Mark, we'll start with you if you don't mind. You're head coach, one of the most famous rugby league clubs in the country, a rich history, an epic stadium. Sadly, been out the top flight more recently, but still very much a giant of the game. How's the off-season been going, Mark?
Yeah, it's been going really well, Dave, to be honest. We've had a big turnover of players, and 16 left the group, and we've brought around 13, 14 new faces in. So it's a big job gelling all the boys together, but no, it's going really well, and we're really comfortable where we're at the moment. So. That's
excellent. Yeah, it can be a bit of a task when you get a lot of new players in, trying to gel and get used to each other, but it can also bring a lot of new energy and new focus. So hopefully that gives you an extra spur for this coming season. When's your first games coming up, Mark? You got some?
We was due for Boxing Day, but yeah, that went by the wayside. So we're the 15th of January. We played Dewsbury at Dewsbury, and then we've got Huddersfield and Leeds Rhinos before the season starts. Early Feb.
Brilliant. Well, there's some tough games then to get you match ready for this season. We'll certainly look out for those, and the very best of luck with those. So just before we move on, though, you were involved in the World Cup. How was your experience in that?
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. Not so much the results, but other than results, worked with some absolute quality people, and really enjoyed the experience of being in a home World Cup. And there's a lad in the bottom corner there as we look now. People like Belly and some of the guys I got to work with. It was a really, really good experience, and something I'm really glad that I did.
Yeah. I really enjoyed the tournament. Me and Keith spoke about it many times, and we were really enjoying it, watching a lot of different players play against different teams and different matchups that you get in the World Cup, and it was brilliant. We thought we really enjoyed the games, and it was a tough results wise, but a lot of the players really stood up for Scotland, which we particularly enjoyed. So moving on to Ian. Ian, you've kept yourself really busy since finishing refereeing. How's your last 12 months been?
With the charity State of Mind Sport that I do a lot of work for, just been really busy. I think it's one of them things where, because we're a mental health charity, we don't really want to be busy because we want everybody to be in great mental fitness and that way. But unfortunately, the way the world these days is that, there's still quite a lot of anxiety around. So, our skills and presentation are needed. So, but yeah, I get to it with Jimmy Gittins. We did a presentation to the Scotland boys, which was fantastic. They made us really welcome. So that was brilliant up in Newcastle, I think it was, before the tournament started. So, yeah, I get to travel around and meet some amazing people, and hopefully we'll be the same in 2023 because we've got a busy few months ahead of us. So, but I was lucky enough. I've just come back from Mexico. I went to Vallarta on the Pacific coast of Mexico for 2 weeks just to have a nice break, and it was warm. It was wonderful. So I just missed that big cold snap that we had. So I haven't seen any of the snow yet. So that was fantastic. So hopefully we won't get the beast from the east like we did a few years ago. So just really looking forward to the tournament starting, Superleague and Championship and League One, and getting some rugby league back on telly and on the radio and watching live games. So, really looking forward to the new season starting.
Yeah, I think it's quite an exciting season coming up, a big one for Rugby League. And yeah, we're the same. I follow you quite a lot on social media, Ian, and see a lot of the fantastic work that you do. So I'd recommend anyone tunes in, follows you on social media and has a look at some of that great work that you do.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
No problem. James, 2022 was a little stop-start at times, but you ended up on an absolute high when you were playing for Scotland. You had some fantastic performances for Scotland. How proud were you representing your heritage in Scotland?
No, it was really cool, bro. Like I've always said, any chance I get to put on a Scottish jump, I'll jump to it any time, and it was like a slow start to the campaign for us, but we kind of started building towards the back end, and we put in a pretty proud performance against a strong Fiji team, and a lot going on sort of that week leading up to that game. I think Dunners and Beats kind of took charge of Grash, kind of them all just working together. Dunners with his pre-game speeches got the boys amped up like he always does. So it was a good feeling into that game, and I thought, with Fergie, our captain, that being his last game, I thought the boys done him proud.
Yeah. Some things like that can be extra inspiring if it's someone's last game in that jersey, and when you're thinking about your heritage, and it's a very proud country, Scotland. So it's great to see you go out well in, particularly in that final game when everyone stood up and gave it a real good goal. It was great. It was great to watch, and hopefully everyone's all the better for the experience. It helps promote the game, and everyone's got some more international caps under the belt. So well done. You managed to get back home for a little while there, just in the off season. I bet that was nice to spend time with family. Oh
no, that was cool. It was a much needed trip. 2022 was a bit of an up and down roller coaster for me personally. Being on and off the field. Not getting much game time, but I guess I need that mental break to really get home, and it was good to spend time with the family and get a bit of sunshine while I could. But it's refreshed now and back here, ripping into preseason. So I feel really good now.
Oh, that's good. So you and Ian have been enjoying some sunshine while the rest of us have been worrying about our heating bills.
Yeah.
No, I've been living in James's house. His heating bill's going to be massive.
I've just tapped into his gas. I'm all right. I've had my heating all the time he's been away.
I was wondering if there's smellers in the house, Keith.
Yeah, that was me. It's my socks. I've left a pair of socks, I think, and a pair of underpants.
Yeah. He's left his washing in the dryer there, if you don't mind putting it to one side. Yeah. I often think that with sports people, that you need that emotional and mental break. It's not just the break physically. Many professional sports people continue training through off seasons and downtime. And I think it's often the mental break away from the game and seeing family and getting away from that really helps. I'm sure Ian knows a little bit about that with some of the work that he does. So, nice to hear that you've had that break, and we're looking forward to you having a fantastic 2023. Nick, if I can introduce you do some work with a local charity, Teardrops. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that, please?
Yeah. So I work, I run Teardrops. I'm the general manager. We're based in St Helens in the Lowies building. If any of you guys, I know Keith was, I think Keith.
Me and Dave,
to be honest, didn't you, mate?
It's an old nightclub, yeah.
He was doing it with Cindy's and then Cinders. Thing. But now we're like a homeless vulnerable charity. We started out as a homeless charity back in 2016, sort of feeding people on the streets, with butties and cups of coffee. And they were with my colleagues, Denise and Shawnee. Shawnee's the founder. She's only just turned 30, and Denise is a mum. And they're a massive, fantastic partnership. And they sort of got together and we went out. And from there, we've spawned into 6 years later. We've got a place of our own. We cook over 5,000 meals a year. We give out numerous food parcels. We do a lot of work with the schools. We're a community charity now, really. That's the main focus for us. Since the pandemic, things have got quite hard, and now the cost of living. So it's a 24/7 job. But to be fair, I don't think I could get a better job anywhere. To be honest, it's It's what I love doing. I used to be a tool salesman, selling nuts and bolts and stuff. And I used to always think, well, I'm making someone else's wallet fat there and I'm not really getting anything out of it. And then the opportunity to volunteer came up and then I managed to get a job and I'm paid for doing something that every day I get something out of. So I'm quite lucky. I feel esteemed in that, like I feel in esteemed company here. You know what I mean? With someone who plays for my favourite team, a referee who I actually admire. Probably one of the
Thank you.
To be honest, Ian, I thought you was really good. And a head coach of probably, for me as a Saints fan, one of the biggest rivals we had when I was really watching rugby league in sort of like the 80s and 90s. So it's really good. And then there's Keith, the Russian sort of puppet, you know.
Yeah.
I just want to know, does James do a good Scottish accent as good as Keith's Russian accent? You know, we're talking heritage.
Oh, jeez.
Well, I keep thinking I'm going to keep well in with James because I think he's got, the Bell's whiskey. I think there must be something there in the history, and he might be coming into a fortune there, a whiskey fortune, James. You might check your family history. You might be worth a few quid.
Oh, jeez. Can really use that after that Christmas.
Certainly. Well, no, it's fantastic for you to join us, Nick, and hopefully raise profile for good charities like that, and raise awareness. So it's great work that you do. So thanks very much for helping and supporting that local charity.
You always give me a shout out. And you're always, there to help us. And that's a really big thing, no matter what sort of media coverage we get. Everyone says, any media's, is good media. But for us, for people to know that we're there and anybody can come and have help off us, there's no judgment or anything like that. Support from you guys and anyone in the community is brilliant. It's out. Word of mouth is better than anything for us,
Yeah.
So.
Brilliant, excellent.
That's what we try and do. I mean, we just try and give back as best we can, really, and by championing what the work that you and the guys do at Teardrops, which is fantastic. I've been down. I've visited you there, Nick. I mean, me and Nick go back a long way anyway. We played rugby together as kids from a youth and grassroots level. But the work that Teardrops do, I mean, I'm going to drop a link to a little promo video for them in the description. So please do check it out. Look at the work that they do, because it isn't just the homeless that they help. They also provide food for the school banks for the schools and toys at Christmas for children. And the work that they do is it's tireless, it's endless. And, they need all the praise and all the help and all the support that they can get. So us as a rugby show, if we can just shout you out at the end of a show, then it's a small part in a big cog for you guys that we can get you out there, get the word out there, and get more people supporting the charity.
Excellent. But definitely, yeah, here. And finally, on to you, Keith. You had a massive part in this World Cup, didn't you? I don't know if everyone knows, but Keith is an actor. That's his chosen profession. And he was seen by thousands throughout this World Cup. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Well, yeah, back in sort of like the early part of the year and late last year, I filmed a TV commercial for Selco, promoting their services. And then I got a phone call off my agent and said, they're going to use it, but it's going to be at the World Cup and they're going to show it on the big screen. Are you going to be all right with that? I was like, happy days. Yeah, absolutely. So it was shown at the World Cup, and I think it's doing another run on Sky Sports. So it'll be on for the next 12 months.
So the drinks are on Keith this new year. He's raking it in with all this.
I can get you a free trade card from Selco. That's about it.
I got a couple of tickets to the game here at Saints and sat down. I took my wife Nicola. We sat down to watch the match. Looked up and I thought, I'm sure I can hear Keith's voice and I can feel his presence. Looked up and there he is on the big screen. I thought he's haunting me here because I didn't bring him to the match.
That's what it was. Yeah,
that's
I was like, wait, if you're not taking me, I'm coming.
Yeah. So welcome everyone, and thanks for that. And hopefully there's opportunities throughout just to raise awareness of certain charities and talk about rugby league as well as we work through. There are a few rugby questions, but I've just got 5 quick questions to warm us all up. And this is around New Year. Now, the first one, there's a couple of guys going to have a massive advantage with this one. So what I'll do is I'll ask the question, and then I'll ask everyone to share their answer in sort of, I might go round clockwise, and then next time I'll ask someone else to answer first and then go round. So the first one is, what name do the Scots give to New Year's Eve? So that's, what name do the Scots give to New Year's Eve? Okay. What Keith has done is sent me a message direct, so no one else can see his answer, but I've got Keith's answer. So you can either do that if you wish, you can type it in, but I'll come round in a moment. I'll start with the non-Scottish guests who maybe, because they might have an advantage. So I'll start with you, Ian. Ian, what do you think that is?
Is it Hogmanay?
It is. It very much is. Nick, what did you have?
To be fair, I'm not going to cheat. I had Hootenanny.
Hootenanny. Hootenanny. Isn't that Jules Holland's programme on television? Yeah. The Hootenanny.
Yeah.
So, James?
Yeah, no, I had the same as Smithy.
Mark?
Yeah, I'm going to...
All good. It's I should have asked you to bring a pad and pen and note it down, and you've had to flash it up. We're just going to have to rely on honesty, good old-fashioned honesty. That's what we're going to have to rely upon. So second, which band took New Year's Day to number 10? That's a song called New Year's Day to number 10 in the charts in 1983. Now, Keith is a big music fan, so he should know this.
I've answered.
Have you sent it in already? Oh, you have, yeah. You have. Yeah. Oh, look. Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Nick. Yeah. Well, you've just shown everyone, Nick. So it might be easy just to type it in or keep it until show it as we ask. If you're on the keyboard, Dave, it's easy to type in.
Technically, Dave, I've got an unfair advantage because technically I'm a professional quizzer.
What, you do a lot of quizzes, you mean?
Well, I won Tenable.
Oh, yeah, true. Yeah.
45 grand.
Just you, Keith. Just you taking all the credit there, mate, yeah?
No, it was a team of 5. We were a team of 5. And we worked well. We did work well together. We tried out and practiced. 45 grand between us.
Very nice. When are you next on again? Are you going to try and get on again?
No, they probably won't have us back. We rinsed them.
Just give you harder questions.
Yeah, but guess what sport I got, right? In my bio, and I'm going off topic here, but in my bio, I put, as my chosen topic, I put music between the 60s and 90s music. And then they said, write a little bio about yourself. So I was like, all right, yeah, I like golf, I like walking, I like watching rugby league. Played it as a kid. So my chosen topic of questions was rugby league, and I couldn't believe it. I was like, "Get it!" I was 1 off a perfect 10, and it was Salford who let me down.
What, they let you down, or you got the question wrong?
No, I let Salford down completely.
Do you remember the question?
It was the top 10 clubs in the Super Leagues before the Super 8s. And some of that on 2016.
You had to name the top 10 that year?
Yeah.
So you got them all right apart from Salford?
Yeah, I got Ulker and Salford the wrong way around. Anyway.
Has everyone answered?
What was the question?
In fact, you two. I can't believe they go back that far. No, it's a long time ago, isn't it?
The Joshua Tree, one of the earlier albums.
Was it that album, The Joshua Tree? It was on.
I think so.
I didn't know it.
You didn't know it?
No.
Neither. I wasn't born.
Must admit, I'm 1 years old. I didn't have a clue.
Unfortunately, I was born.
Me too.
And I left school then. Thanks, James.
Making us feel old here. On New Year's Day in 1914, so I don't think any of us remember this one, the world's first airline started operating within which American state? Now, we've all got a chance at this one. I'd be surprised if someone knows it. Pick an American state. Yeah, I've got a couple.
Type, so I'll have to show. So when everyone's typed, I'll show.
Okay.
I think I don't know it.
Oh. Even do a little star.
So you've gone. So Ian has gone California. Keith has gone New York. Nick has gone Texas. James, have you got an answer?
Not too sure. Illinois.
Mark?
No, it's a wild guess. Florida.
Okay. Well, I think Illinois is in Tennessee, isn't it? Isn't Illinois?
I'm not too
Tennessee,
sure.
I think it's a state, but I'll let you have Tennessee. But it wasn't that. Mark was, in fact, right. Florida.
Oh, well done, Mark.
Well done.
I thought that was a bit strange, wouldn't it? You wouldn't expect Florida to be the first one. I would have gone probably New York, like Keith, being one of the,
Probably the Disney influence. When did that open?
I'm not sure. It's not on the quiz, that one. Don't know.
1907, I think.
1907?
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Donners.
I only know that because as a kid, I used to have a bit of a mirror and it had the trademark on the bottom of it.
Oh, really?
All right.
1907, yeah. It was a gift from my parents as a kid.
Wow.
Well, if it's a tie break, we can...
Don't ask any questions on Disneyland.
This is another one, a couple more here from American influence. A traditional New Year ball drop takes place at which New York City landmark? Has anyone been New York?
No.
Keith?
No.
Just Keith. So you're at an advantage again. Keith has sent it in. Oh. Good shout. Couple of good shouts. You guys got your answers?
I like the way you went, oops.
Okay, we got that. Thanks. James? You got an answer?
The Empire State.
Mark?
No, I've absolutely no idea.
No idea.
No idea.
So we got a couple are right. Nick and Keith are both right. It's Times Square. Times Square is a famous square in New York. It's they have a traditional. It's a big thing, isn't it, in New York? The New
ball
Year.
drop.
Yeah.
Everybody loves a ball drop.
Now everyone's got a chance for this one. The final one are just New Year's ones to give it a theme. On which day of the week was New Year's Eve in the year 2000? I was only very young. I don't remember it too well.
Let's meet it up in the year 2000.
We all got an answer?
I've messaged man.
Okay, Mark, have you got an idea?
Yeah, well, test my math skills now. I've just counted back Sunday.
Oh, James?
Monday.
I typed in Friday.
We got Friday, Wednesday from Keith and Nick. What have you gone for?
Saturday.
I think we've almost got every day of the week here. It was Mark's right again. It was a Sunday. Well done.
Well done, Mark.
You're lying here, Mark.
Danners.
Maths.
Yeah. Bradford Bulls are doing really well on this quiz.
I didn't factor in league years.
So the next round, or the second round, is all about numbers. So it's a bit easier to run as a quiz in this format because I'll give you a question and you'll all select a number. It's the person who's the closest will get the mark. So
Dunners has just admitted he's a really good mathematician. So this is going to work in his favour again. Yeah,
it is. It's. I promise everyone, I didn't set this up with Mark beforehand. He doesn't. He didn't realise this.
What's the prize for winning, Dave?
Keith is going to share part of his tenable winnings.
I don't say that belly will be
the winner.
That went long ago. The missus spent that before it hit my bank. I'll have to edit that bit out though, obviously.
Is Mark just good at adding up all the points against? Is that what it is?
Fighting talk.
Too far,
you can tell Saints have won 4 in a row. Get very confident. Very confident. So the first one, what is the life expectancy in the UK as of 2022 last year? It's a life expectancy.
Of who? Of what?
People, humans.
Oh, like general.
Us.
Next week, with cost of living.
So we simply pick a number. We'll see who's the closest. So I've got Keith's and Ian's. James, have you got an idea?
I'd go around maybe 68.
68? 68? I haven't got long
You're going to
left.
die next year, James.
Gotta get my bucket list out quick.
Yeah. Well, I'm sweating here.
That's my pension gone.
Yeah, I only get my pension at 67. I've got one good year.
68, me, I get mine.
Blimey. Mark?
Oh, jeez.
74.
74. These are low here. Jeez. Keith has gone 84. Ian, 76. Nick, you've gone 83. So the actual life expectancy is 80.9 to almost 81. So I think, Nick, were you the closest there?
Nick was just beat me.
Yeah.
I've died a year after Nick.
I just did on the colour of your beard there, Keith. That was all it was.
Is that what it was?
Yeah.
Thanks.
I got to 83 there and thought you're still alive.
Yeah, I've factored this in because it's Christmas. I've been playing with Santa a lot, so I had to cultivate.
Yeah. I think 84 is a bit ambitious. We need to get a bit healthier if we want to get that far. We're more likely to hit James's estimation at the moment.
I might get to 84, but I'll have no idea who I am.
You won't know you're 84.
No.
Okay, the next one is rugby themed. And again, a couple of people here should have an advantage. How many games were played across the whole of the Rugby League World Cup 2022?
Oh.
So including all the games across wheelchair and the women's games, not all the different games. Ooh.
Oh, actually.
So we'll start, Mark. Do you want to hazard a guess?
I think I know it. I think it was 61.
Okay. James?
62.
Nick?
I got quite high. I went 93.
Nick, 93.
It'll still be on me.
I went 64.
Ian, 64. Keith, do you want to tell everyone what you've gone?
Yeah, I just realised I got mixed up. I put the number of goals scored in the World Cup as in the Football World Cup. I went really high. I put 172.
107. They'll still be playing now.
I know. I went off goals in the Football World Cup because there was a question recently. And I still got that wrong because it was 179 was the actual answer of goals scored in the World Cup.
Well, if that had been the question, Keith, you'd have got the points. But as it wasn't, it was about the Rugby League World Cup. It was 61. So, Mark, again, you're absolutely spot on. Flying.
Absolute mathematician.
I don't want to think he worked the World Cup.
Yeah. Absolutely flying. Yeah, I expected the number to be higher. I don't know why, but
I did.
There seems to be a lot of rugby, but I think it's probably because we tried to take all of those games in and watch as many of them as we can. So it was really entertaining.
That was it. I watched a few games on repeat, so I have actually watched 172 games.
Ah, right. You were thinking, how many games have you watched? You've watched some of them 4 or 5 times.
That's it.
Right. Okay.
Still got the score wrong.
Got you. So the next one is still staying with the World Cup. How many nations were represented in the World Cup 2022?
Across all 3?
Yeah. How many nations across the whole World Cup? So is that your answer again, Keith? 172, or are you still on the last one?
Still on the last one. I've just sent you my latest one.
Okay. I got those.
Paul Hardcastle.
Oh, yeah. There's another music link. So, Nick, have you got yours? What have you gone for? 22?
Quack, quack.
James?
I'll go 19.
You got 19? Mark?
Really, brother?
17.
17. It
21,
was actually
mate.
20. 20. So, I think that's shared then, is it? Nick and Keith share the points there.
Well, no, me and James both said 19.
And I said 21.
I said 22.
So, all right. So there's a mark then each for Ian, Keith, and James.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ian 1.
Go on, the lads.
Want to guess?
It's my first one. I've got to.
So, how many teams are in Super Leagues?
Super Leagues.
This year?
See what you did there, Dave.
I'm not going to give you any more on that, other than how many teams are in Super Leagues.
I'm confused.
Across all sports in the world?
It's a guess.
I can't clarify the question, I'm afraid.
Oh.
He can, but he won't. Not till the end.
172.
So we're going. Keith has gone for. I'm going to jot these down. 56. Ian has gone for
20.
What, is that 20? Ian?
Yeah. I thought you just meant Super League and Women's Super League.
Nick?
That's what I was kind of like with Ian, 22. Close on
22. Keith has gone for 56. James?
I just went with 12.
You're sticking with 12. Mark?
I had 26.
26. You were really right there, Keith, to know there was a bit of a red herring in the way I pronounced it. Super Leagues. There's more than one Super League in across sports, isn't there? There's I think it's the women's football, and there's a netball league as well, which is called Super League.
The Netherlands Netball League.
The answer is actually 34 different teams across those different leagues. So you're right. It was a trick question, but hopefully on topic, because it's something that's come up on with IMG, hasn't it, around the naming of Rugby League's top league. Should we continue with the name Super League? I'll throw that out there.
No.
Division 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, etc.
You want to go for a simple numbering system, Nick?
We could go ABC, you know what I mean? But
yeah,
can't read right.
Given its IMG and what they did like with the ping pong and the UFC and all that, I think they'll try and EFC it like ERL it, European Rugby League, it like me and David discussed previously, or BRL, British Rugby League.
Yeah. Someone mentioned about NRL. You know, obviously that's the biggest comp in our sport, isn't it? And there was mention of NRLE. So NRL Europe.
I like that. Yeah, I like it. You're right.
Back of the biggest comp in the world, but branding it with the European. Whether it comes off or not, I'm not sure.
Yeah, the thing is, for me, that when you're searching NRL and before you get to the E, everything from the NRL is going to come up straight away, isn't it?
Well, maybe if we get a similar name, more people do a search for NRL if it brings up both, because I think you can pay on the search engines, can't you, to have it higher up on the search engines. So there might have to pay a fee for that. But I'm a big fan of changing the name. I think Super League, I liked it at first. I think it's been brilliant. But I think over the time period, it's kind of lost its way a little bit. And I think possibly a rebrand would be a good way to kickstart the sport again, or certainly hopefully regenerate some interest. Branding's so big in sports and in advertising now. It's all about everything's branding. Have a nice little catchy logo to go with it. Like you say, Keith, UFC. You know, people don't say cage fighting or kickboxing; they just say
Ultimate
UFC.
Fighting Championship.
Yeah, it's a great way to promote the sport. So, yeah, I'm certainly in favour of it, and be interesting to see what they come up with. But I like that idea, Mark. I hope they investigate that and see if that's a goer.
Yeah, I think one of the trade papers a week or two ago. It's just an idea that's been tossed about, I think, and it's got some mileage in it, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
As long as they don't think we're a poor offshoot of NRL, almost like they own this little bit of Europe, so we're almost like a smaller franchise of the big beast that is the NRL.
Again, you get people saying, well, we're just copying the NRL, and that's the downside to everything, isn't it? But
I think there's always someone going to criticise. It seems particularly, with social media now, it's so easy to criticise it. Whatever decision is made, someone will find fault with it. We've just got to hopefully look at the bigger picture and look at the long term and what's the benefit for everyone across the leagues to bring more eyes to it, to bring hopefully more investment into it. And if a name change like NRL, and you're right, Ian, there's a risk, I think, that you do look like a little bit of the poorer relative. But if that's so big anyway, it might help in some ways. We may be able to piggyback on that term a little bit, which may help. It's worthy of a discussion. I'm not sure about if you've got any opinions, James. That normally when you speak to players, that particularly when during the career, they just want to play the game. They couldn't care less what it's called. Give it whatever title you want. Just give me a rugby ball and let me play the game. Is that how you see it?
Yeah, probably. I haven't thought about it too much, to be fair. But just like you say, I'm just a player, I think, and I'm a fan as well. So I think change is probably exciting, if anything.
Well, that's good to hear. Yeah, I mean, hopefully the players are behind it as well, because that gives it a bit more backing, a bit more momentum. So, yeah, it's certainly good to hear. So, you won't believe this next question. It's already come up in discussion. I forgot to put this one in. The ages that you get your state pension in England.
Right.
It changes, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does change. Because it's changed for me. But,
so the clues in the question, the ages. How's it work with players, James? Do you contribute, and therefore would you be entitled to some state pension if you pay national insurance statements? I'm not sure how it works.
You do, but for most of us foreign players, I don't think we bother too much, because obviously we're only going to be here for a few years and then we'll shoot back home for the next, 50 years before we can try to do anything.
The amount you
put
in the pot is so small, it's barely worth it.
I think the qualifying criteria, correct me if I'm wrong, somebody probably will, but I think you've got to have paid in for it like at least 10 years for it to be viable.
Okay, so we've got Ian's gone 65 to 68. Keith's gone 65, but traditionally 60 for women, but for me 70. Yours is 70.
Yeah, my pension. I think my pension age for my age group. They did a sliding bracket, didn't they? But 60 for women, 65 for men is the traditional age of retirement. But I think depending on when you're born, they moved another thing. So I think it's 70 for me and you, Dave.
I've 68 for me, but it's not 60 for women anymore. My sister's in that thing where they've moved her now to 66.
Right.
So it's all changed. So yeah.
So we're all right. We all get points because nobody knows.
Well, when I look this up officially at this moment in time, it's either 66, 67 or 68, depending on your current age. But it is likely to change. Who was closest, sir? I think Ian and Nick, were they? Oh, I didn't come to James and Mark, did I? Sorry. I forgot.
No, that's right.
And I've already given the answer away. So it'd be unfair to give points to this if I've given everyone the answer before I've given everyone the opportunity. Well, you're lucky, Keith, because you've gone 60, 65 and 70.
Yeah, I just covered all the bases.
One of those was right. No. Ian and Nick were closest, but not quite right. So we're back onto some rugby questions now. This is an interesting one. Now, I thought so anyway. For the Wigan fans, how many games did Brett Kenny play for Wigan?
Ooh, good question. How many seasons did he do? I want to do that. Could be wrong.
Okay, I can start with Mark. Any idea, Mark?
It's a stab in dark. I'm going to go 30.
30.
Shout.
James?
I'd go 70.
70. What did you hold up there, Nick? Sorry?
85. But you know what I mean? I was only young.
85.
I did 75.
Ian's gone 75. Keith, you went
34.
34. Well, in fact, Mark's the closest again. 25.
Wow.
Only 25. We tend to think of the imports back in the 80s, because they were such big superstars that they probably got a lot of games under the belt. But because we had the winter season then, if you remember, they only came over for short periods in the off season. It was their off season, come over, play a few games, earn a few quid, and go back. So didn't actually play many games at all. So I think, Mark, you've got another point. You're flying here, mate.
Well done, Mark.
Yeah.
Good guess that. I can't claim that one.
This is a good omen for Bradford Bulls. This means you're going to have a good season, definitely. The momentum started already. Yeah, just 25. And I think Mal Meninga, he didn't have so many either, did he? I'm just checking that there's no question about Mal Meninga before I give the answer to that. Yeah, I don't think that was too many either. So the next one is another Australian import, but for St. Helens this time. I don't know if you remember this one, Nick. Michael O'Connor played more or fewer games for Saints than Brett Kenny.
Wow.
More games or fewer games?
He was a big lad, him.
Winger, flyer. But he didn't...
it might be a different Michael O'Connor, who's a goal-kicking sort of centre.
Centre, that's what I was thinking, yeah. Quite tallish, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Longer.
That Michael O'Connor.
I don't think he had longer hair. No, he played. He was outstanding for Australia. He didn't do too great when he came over for St. Helens. Didn't settle too well. Ended up playing on the wing, I think, in the,
That's what I said,
was it the 91 Chance Cup final. Some Saints fans still put us right on that. Bill Beavers at centre. Mixed it all around.
On the wings.
So,
Of course, number 13.
we've got Nick. What have you gone for?
Before Christmas.
You've gone for fewer. James?
I'll go for more.
More? Mark?
I think you've just given us a clue and said he didn't settle very well, so I'm going to go lower.
And Keith's gone lower as well. You're right. He only played 18 matches.
I was going to say 19, but yeah, I remember, I think he only had like one season with us.
Yeah, just one brief off season, just 18 games. Just 18 games. So that's everyone. Sorry here, James. Everyone got a point but yourself. Well, you might have a chance with this one. I don't know if you're a cricket fan, just to change it up a little bit. How many test wickets has Jimmy Anderson taken? The cricket fans. So, well, Keith's not a cricket fan, obviously. He's just typed his answer.
I have no idea when it comes to cricket.
I love cricket, and I'm not quite sure how many. I think I'm in the ballpark.
Okay, I'll try not to say. So, Nick, would you like to hazard a guess?
I've kind of gone about that many.
I can't quite see that. 1,100.
Right. Well, Rutheran only got 800.
Sorry, did you say test? Wow.
Mark?
It was off. I thought you said all his wickets.
650-ish.
Okay, 650. James?
Say 350.
350.
No idea, me.
Ian's gone 671.
Better than my answer, James.
Keith's gone 78.
I just thought he was really rubbish.
So it's 675
Ooh,
at this moment in time. So Ian was just 4 away. So Ian's got that one. Yeah, well done. And you can have a bonus 5 points there. This is where you can come back, James. If you can tell me who was number 1 when he made his debut. It's a shot in the dark.
Who was what?
Number 1 in the charts.
On the charts.
When he made his debut.
Do we know what year he made his debut?
I think it was 19 years ago, about 19 years ago. So what would that be? About 2003, 2004, I think it was, yeah.
Go
give you a clue. I think they're in jail now. It was an American rapper. I think he's...
Oh, Vanilla Ice. Ice, ice, baby. Dun, 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 dun. It's a Vanilla Ice, James. Go for it.
No, it wasn't that. No. I could have told you it wasn't that when you started, but I thought I'd let you finish your rap first. Oh. I hope I'm right with this clue because I could be wrong with the clue. They might not be in jail. Might be an upstanding
Milli Vanilli.
member of society.
Milli Vanilli, no.
No, it was R. Kelly.
Oh,
Am I right? Aren't they?
You can't even mention his name, Dave.
Well, we'll move it on then. Back to a rugby league question. What year did Australia first tour England to play rugby league? What year?
I'll change my answer. There you go.
Oh, okay. You sure you want to change it, mate?
Oh, I don't know. Well, if I'm right, just read one of them out.
Okay. Have you got yours, Nick?
Yeah, I'm kind of around that.
1912. Okay. James, what are you going for?
mate, guess was 72.
Good year, though. Cracking year. 1972.
Yeah, Keith was born. Mark?
1908.
1908. And we've got 90. What? You've put about 4 answers down there, Keith. Which one do you want me to take?
Well, I put 1912.
That's not how you do quizzes.
Oh, right,
no wonder you won Tenable. Just keep giving answers until you get it right.
Top 10. I did 1912 was my first answer, and then I did changed it to 1902. But I'll take my first answer.
You're going back to 1912.
Ian knows this one. I could tell by the smile on his face.
Yeah.
And
I didn't ref this one, Mark.
Ian's gone 1922. Well, Mark smashed it again. It's 1908. Absolutely spot on.
Oh, well done.
08-09 season, wasn't it?
It's what?
The 08-09 season.
I don't remember it myself, but it's... you know what? I checked back on that question about Florida and what year they started flying out. It was 1914. So this would have been they would have come over by boat then, wouldn't they, for the 1908 season?
Yeah.
Far out.
Yeah.
It took them a few weeks, didn't it?
Banners, eh?
Yeah. Well, you might do well on the next question then if you know a little bit about the tour, because it's following on from that. How many games did they play on the tour?
Wow, they did like club level at that thing as well, didn't they? So
Well, if you're spending 6 months coming over on a boat, you'd probably want to play more than just 3 tests. So Ian's gone for 12.
Are we talking Europe or just in Great Britain?
On that tour.
Yeah, just that tour.
On the whole tour?
The whole tour. Nothing but the tour. So, Nick, what have you gone for?
I'm going to go for 14.
You've gone for 14.
Yeah. It's my lucky number. That's the only reason.
Keith, is that your answer, 1912?
No, 12.
1,900. Or was that your last question?
12 I've put.
You've gone for 12?
Yeah.
Okay. Mark?
18.
18. Come on, James. You're back in the game here.
I'll go 18. No. I'll go.
Back in the winner there. He's back in the winner. Odds on favourite, 2-1. Down.
20 was the first number that came to me.
21. Yeah, I'm going to take 21 before you change your mind. Because it was, in fact, 45.
Wow.
Games, isn't it? 45. It's more than a full season.
Well, they must have played like every club, and plus France and all them as well.
I think... Didn't they used to play a lot of representative teams as well? And
Lancashire and Yorkshire and Cumbria.
I would imagine.
That just sounds like they had kickabouts on the services on the way up, doesn't it? Like, just jumped off the courts. Come on, lads.
It sounds like a Saturday afternoon over at Park when your kids in it.
It does, like, yeah. 42 a second.
You're crossing training.
Yeah. Tick and passing training was counted, yeah. And I think there was only 3 tests out of that lot. But you've smashed it, James. Absolutely smashed it. You're showing these up. Got that one right.
Well done. I think you're favouring your neighbour here, Dave. What's going on?
And that was, in fact, a bonus question. You get 5 extra marks for that one. I didn't tell anyone before that.
Oh, geez.
No, you don't. Sorry, James. I can't manage that. Now, the next one will be fun. Who played the most games, Gareth Ellis or Adrian Morley?
In that test period, in 1912 or 08.
Ian, who did you send off most?
Moz by a long way.
I was going to say, is it time on the pitch or?
Yeah. Oh, must have been banned more than Gaz.
I forgot to write the answer down. We'll have to, as we chat, I'm going to Wikipedia it. You lot can't Wikipedia, that'd be cheating.
Going to say. And now we'll have an interlude with some soothing music. I'm actually going to leave this in. I'll just play some awkward shopping channel music.
I'll add a bonus question. How many referees have refereed Super League?
Oh, good shout.
Properly?
16.
Who else is going?
17.
18.
22.
How many?
22.
42.
No, 22.
22. Nick?
21, I said, yeah.
53.
Wow.
Because you got like Bill Harrigan refereed one game when he came over. Steve Clark refereed one game. Tim Mander refereed one game. You know, from 96, you know, there was quite a lot of people. Leon Williamson from New Zealand, he refereed one game in Super League when they were getting him ready for a test match. So there was quite a lot who only refereed one game. So there's 53 referees have refereed Super League in some guise or another. So I only managed 282.
That's a lot.
282.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Think I quite get to the 300.
How many did you send off, Ian?
I don't know, actually. No, I sent off Lee Radford in my last ever game for punching Ryan Bailey. So, but what I didn't see was Ryan Bailey elbowed Lee. So that was it would have been 2 in that game if I'd have seen the whole incident.
If you'd have seen both
incidents. Yeah.
Well, that was your last game, that one, was it?
Yeah.
Have you spoke to Radders since?
Yeah, I will have done. I don't think, I ever told him that was the reason why I packed in. Well, the reason why I packed in because the police couldn't get me away from ground, but safely. That's why I packed in.
And if you're interested in that story, I'll put that in the description as well, because we've done a show with him where he tells us that story.
Wow.
Memorable game as a referee was my last one, and that just ties in with this foul play. I had a video ref. It was Hull versus Leeds in September 2010. If you want to get the footage is on YouTube. And 9 minutes into this game, Lee Radford stands up at the tackle and banjos Ryan Bailey. Yeah. Stands up, cuffs him, blood pouring down his face. So it was a little bit of a melee. Even though I had a video ref, the video ref then couldn't give me any input on foul play. So I gets my touch judges on. I said, right, I've seen Lee Radford punch Ryan Bailey. Have you anything to add? No. So I sends him off. So I'm given a penalty signal. And they're showing a replay on the big screen. And what it showed was Ryan Bailey, the bugger, just before Lee had stood up and punched him, he'd elbowed him in the face on the floor. But I'd got several players in my line of sight.
So you
just didn't see it. Yeah. Didn't see it. Just an absolute genuine mistake. There was a really big crowd because it was an end of season game. And so they now show the whole replay on the big screen. So can you imagine what 15,000 Hull fans are now saying about Ian Smith? Game? So 71 minutes. And Leeds scored 2 late tries and won the game. So... as the final whistle goes, my God, the level of abuse. And it was a police game, and the police could not guarantee me safe passage to my car.
Really?
You talk about loneliness, you talk about vulnerability, you talk about the emotional state of a referee. They had to bring my car into the stadium. I had to give a policeman my car key, brought it into the stadium, and they had to take me through an internal corridor to get me safely away from the stadium.
Yeah. It was. I refereed 7 Wigan Saints derbies on the bounce, and Stuart Cummins kept saying to me, "I'll give you the next one, and you'll keep doing them until you get it right." So, 7 on the bounce. Anyway, carry on.
You must have some nicer stories, though, Ian. I mean, you must have some games where you didn't send people off.
Oh, absolutely. I think I only sent 2 or 3 off.
Really?
Yeah, I think I sent off Brendan Tutor. Featherstone, if anybody remembers Brendan.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my word. Yeah. I was frightened to death just walking past him. He had this face, this look. And
intimidating.
Absolutely. Yeah, so I wouldn't have liked to have played against him. But, he was a bit of an animal. But
some tough players.
Moz definitely didn't play as many as Gareth Ellis because of the amount of time he were either injured or suspended, in my opinion.
That's interesting. So we've got Ian and Keith have gone for Ellis, Gareth Ellis. Nick, who are you going for?
I'm just going to book the trend and go for Morley then.
Morley? Mark?
Yeah, Gaz Ellis for me.
James?
Yeah, same here, Gaz.
Gaz. It was Gaz, but not by as many as you'd think. Gareth Ellis played 519 games. Adrian Morley, 488 games. It's a lot closer than I thought. A lot closer. But he played for a long time, Adrian Morley, didn't he? I mean, he did some stint at Bradford, I think, Mark. Am I right in saying that?
No, I did. Yeah, I did a stint there, yeah.
Yeah. Did do you know how many games he played when he came over? But I think it wasn't so many, I don't think, was it?
No, it was on the back of the Australian season finishing, wasn't it? And he came over the back end of the season there and ended up playing in the grand final.
Yeah.
And Andy Lynch missed out that year playing in the grand final when Moz was up. Yeah, I think it was a handful of games. But,
I mean, it's always tough on the players who miss out. You know, they've played all season. They've, as they say it, they've earned the right to get that spot. And but you bring over such a class player who has that experience like Adrian Morley, who you think could get you over the line in the grand final. It's a tough decision for a coach. It's not one, I guess, that's easy to make. And you may be finding that out now, Mark, are you? When you got players who are playing equally well and you've got to pick one of them, how do you make that decision?
Yeah, well, I've always said that coaches name teams, players pick them by the way they conduct themselves and the way they're playing and the way they train and things like that. But as you say, when you get into grand final status and you've got somebody of Moz's calibre, that's there to be used, then I don't think there's many people would leave a fit Adrian Morley on the sidelines. But it's always tough on the bloke that's got to miss out into.
Yeah.
To be fair, Andy Lynch was no ducker either, though, were he?
No, he was a very good player. He
was, absolutely.
I think he was massively underrated as a player, to be honest. Even before he came to Bradford, he was outstanding for Castleford, wasn't he?
He was.
A player's player, I think, really respected by his peers, that type of player, but possibly not as much by fans week in, week out, but the players see what those tough forwards, the work that they do for the rest of the team. And so I'll probably put you on the spot a little bit here, Matt. How do you approach those conversations with players? It can't be easy sometimes, some of those conversations.
No, they're not easy, mate, but you've just got to be honest, haven't you? I think any conversation that you have, around that sort of thing has got to be based on honesty and be upfront with the guys. And, they're certainly not going to like it, but I think if they know that you're being honest and you're giving them your opinion on how you see it, then, they can cop it on the chin. Whereas if you start going down other avenues and start to make, poor excuses and things like that, then I think it makes it worse. So, go with what your thoughts are and your gut instinct, but you've got to treat people with respect and honesty as well.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think it's human nature. It's tempting to soften the blow a little bit by maybe giving a couple of excuses or trying to find a way around it. But in the long term, that doesn't build the trust between the team then. So yeah, I think you're right. Sometimes you just got to suck it up and have that conversation. What was it like coaching James here? I've done a bit of work with him in the garden. He's coming on a bit. He's done a bit of passing over the fence. The ball's a bit flat, so we've got to work hard to get it over the fence. But
you need to do some kicking with him as well now as a halfback.
Right, okay. Tomorrow morning, James.
Yeah, do some kicking in the garden. No, it was life and rugby league's all about opinions, isn't it? And just going back on the last subject, all six of us on this screen will have a different opinion on a player, and a different opinion on what you want your team to look like and what player will contribute to that team. So it's about opinions. But yeah, working with Belly and in the Scotland squad, and he came in and played the first couple of games at loose forward, and we picked some injuries up, and we had an idea, and Grass went with it, and one of theirs now an international halfback. So yeah.
So let me throw that question to James. And how was it going from loose forward to a halfback, James?
Now it's all right. I've played halfback before in the past, and it kind of feels natural to me. I kind of ball play in the middle anyway, and I think Dunners and Grass saw that, so it was probably an easy transition. Not for me, but also the team too, because I played with a few of those boys too, Halliwell and the boys like that. So yeah, it was pretty crazy.
I won't tell you what I said, Keith, when we told him, because you'd have to edit it out.
No, it's all right. It's all right. It's fine. We've had Keith Pollard on, and it took me an hour and a half to cut it. What all his swear words out. But we're all right. We have an age restriction. We say this is not for kids. So
yeah, it was all good fun, mate, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So we'll do some kicking practice then tomorrow, James. First thing in the morning, about 11:30, something like that.
We'll get him over Ecky Field. We'll have a game of gaining, and then we'll do a bit of grubber kicking, and we'll be all right.
Well, try and kick it over them bushes that we've not trimmed for the last 3 years. You do well, get him over that into my garden.
Well, you have to keep your bush trimmed.
Oh yes, you do.
Get that one out, Keith.
Don't talk about Nicola like that, Dave.
I will be in trouble. You definitely got to edit that out.
You know it's staying in now, don't you?
Getting complacent, Dave.
I'm going to move on with the quiz then now. We've only got a few more questions left. So this next one, who scored the most tries? Ellery Hanley or Billy Boston?
Oof.
I'm not going to give you any clues.
Ooh.
I'll put my answer, but given who you've put in the other side of that question, makes me think there's a reason. But I've gone with my answer anyway.
Okay. So we've got answering from Keith and Ian. Nick, do you have your answer?
I've gone BB.
Okay. Mark?
Yeah, I'm going to go Billy Boston as well. I just think there's a curveball from you there, Dave.
James?
Yeah, I'm going to go Billy Boston. I don't know either of the two, sorry, but Billy Boston seems he's got a cool name.
Cool player and cool, absolute gent as well. We were lucky enough to be invited to watch a game at Saints when we were at Nosey Road, myself and Keith, and we were sat in the old pavilion on a couple of seats, and there were 3 seats there, and the third one was Billy Boston. We were like pinching ourselves. We watched the Saints Wigan derby in the pavilion at Nosey Road, chatting with Billy Boston the whole way through. And what an absolute gentleman, just the nicest guy you could ever meet. And so full of praise for the game. And people were asking him about the match, and I never forget his sort of philosophy. And I think we share that now. He said, I don't care who wins, it doesn't matter to me. I just want to watch. I'm here to enjoy it, and I just want to watch a great game of rugby league. And I like that philosophy. It was great from a player. Well, you're all right. It is Billy Boston, but the reason I raised that is I was really surprised how many tries Ellery Hanley scored in his career. It was absolutely prolific, particularly for Leeds. He scored 396 tries as a forward. He spent a lot of time injured. Billy Boston, a famous winger, was 483. So it's about, I think that's less than 90, is it? More? And you'd think someone with such a long, successful career like Billy Boston as a winger would have, particularly back in the day when the wingers scored all the tries, would have absolutely smashed, I think, Ellery Hanley. But no, it's astonishing, really, how many tries Ellery got as a forward, and what an incredible player he was as a footballer. Did you watch much of him, James, when you were younger, Ellery Hanley?
No, unfortunately. Is he an English player?
Oh, mate, he's a legend.
He's incredible.
He's probably one of the greatest players we've ever produced.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you ever get a chance to watch go on YouTube and type in Ellery Hanley and just watch him. He's just phenomenal. Pace, power, strength, sidestep, brain, tough. You name it, attitude.
Oh,
and I bet he could give a right hook as well.
He played for Balmain Tigers as well, and there was a highlight clip where he's up taking the ball, and somebody comes in, torpedoes him basically, and he ends up the other side of the try line, and he just gets up. Like most people just wouldn't have got up from that tackle, and he just got up and carried on. You're like, oh, yeah.
He scored a famous try for Bradford because he came through the ranks at Bradford. Do you remember that? The try I'm on about, Mark, where he picks it up on his own line
Yeah, I do. It was at Headingley, wasn't it?
Was it at Headingley that
It was, yeah.
I think he scored a really special try at Headingley where he went down the touchline there in front of the main stand.
He's handing them all off, isn't he? They're all trying to get to him. He's just handing them off, one after another.
Yeah, 80s, early
awesome.
90s, maybe. But He was an outstanding player, and I agree with Ian, probably one of the best we've ever produced in this country.
Yeah, highly respected in Australia, and that try for Bradford was just incredible. You're right, that left arm fend as he runs down the right hand.
I think at the time he was playing in the centre as well.
He was a centre early days.
Yeah, he played a bit of full back and a bit of centre, and then found himself being a ball handling loose forward, and a very, very good one as well.
I think he was so good, you just had to have him in the middle in the mix somehow. He could have probably played every position equally as well, but someone that good, and to represent his country as well as he did, he won everything at Wigan. They had a great team at the time, but he won absolutely everything at Wigan. And then a lot of people thought his career was over. He had a lot of injuries, and he went to Leeds. And when you look at the stats, it's astonishing how successful and how many games he played for Leeds. In my memory, I just picture him really as a young kid at Bradford and then being exceptional at Wigan. Less so about his time at Leeds, but no, it surprised me a little bit that they did that. So, yeah, a bit of homework for you there, James. So you've got to do Ellery Hanley on YouTube and then some kicking practice, and then we'll have a chat after that, and I'll send a report into Mark how you're getting on. And
look through the Dockhouse footage. We've done a couple of specials on Billy Boston, so I'll tell you all about him.
No, we'll do. We'll do for sure.
I
feel quite embarrassed actually not knowing too much about the English game. I really do need to educate myself.
Well, you're a lot younger than us, James, so we'll let you off for that. You grew up in a different country, so it's fair that you may not know too much about it, but hopefully we're helping raise the profile of some of these former players.
Yeah.
Fantastic athletes. So, please do check some of them out. And
for sure.
You come back on next time and tell us all about what you've watched.
Yeah, learn a thing or two.
Yeah, definitely. So I think everyone scored the points on that, didn't they? So should they have a tot up? Because we've got two questions left, two sort of left field questions. This is an odd one. If you dug a hole through the centre of the earth, starting from Wellington in New Zealand. So do you know Wellington well, James?
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you been there? Have you spent time in Wellington?
Yes, I've been to Wellington a few times.
Have you ever dug a hole all the way through the earth to Europe? Because that would really help you answer this question. Which country would you end up in?
This is a trick question because you'd burn out halfway through, is my answer.
Halfway through is your answer?
No, you'd burn out. The core of the earth would just crumble you. Okay, so if you...
Depends if you get tools from Selco, Keith, you know what I mean?
Yeah, just get a new spade from Selco. We've got a spade card.
Sorry.
It's where the trade go, and I can dig it faster than you can lace up your boots. Right.
Oh, Ian's is interesting. Yeah. Ian sent one in.
Didn't do it with a capital F. So I hope I don't get deducted if I'm right.
No, that's fine. Oh. Okay, you've gone for Italy. Okay. So Italy, Finland, Halifax. You've actually gone for the town. You've pinpointed it that well that you've gone for Halifax.
He'll have gone Halifax, Nova Scotia. That's what he'll have done.
Yeah. It's Halifax in the valley. You're halfway there if it's a valley. Shay, is it?
Yeah. In the dip down the bottom end.
Yeah. James, what would you go for?
Not too sure. Maybe Spain.
Okay. Mark?
I'm going to go France.
France. Well, some really good answers, but you never believe this. James has smashed it again. It's Spain.
Because he's been to Wellington. You see, if we'd all been to Wellington, we would know northeasterly which way was underneath us.
Did that come up in school when you was back home, James? Is that one of the questions?
No.
So the final question then, and then you can all be put out of your misery. It's a hot topic, this one. How long does it take to cook a soft boiled egg?
He just needs backup, right? We had this on the Christmas quiz and he didn't like my answer. So he just keeps asking everybody till he gets his own consensus of answers in and around what David said.
Well, my answer's correct. That's the difference between mine and Keith's. But I'll let you guys tell me how long you would cook if you wanted a soft-boiled egg.
I'm allergic to eggs, so I'm at a disadvantage again.
Yeah.
I don't play Rugby League. There's been no homeless questions. Come on.
It's got a point, Dave. It's got a point. You're going to have to find a homeless question now.
And then my answer will be correct.
I feel you pain because I don't eat eggs. I don't like them.
Keith thinks it's between 5 and 7, but he's wrong. And he might be down on his own.
I'm right.
I said 4 minutes in his quiz, and he didn't give me the points. And I think that I'm not bitter over it.
I was plugging my headphones into my actual thing there, so I lost you audio-wise for a couple minutes. So where was we at? What did we say?
We said, Keith, that your guess of between 5 to 7 is in fact incorrect. It's 4 minutes. The correct answer is 4 minutes.
Did anybody else say 5 to 7 minutes?
I said 3. I'd like to dispute because mine would be soft at 3 minutes.
No, not edible, though, to be fair.
You can eat them raw. So if you can eat them raw, you can eat them after 3 minutes, surely. I'm with Nick. Nick, I'm with you.
You'd have the shits for a week, lad.
But Matty can still eat it.
Yeah. Didn't say the after.
Technicality.
Didn't say the aftershock.
Yeah, well, you were really accurate early in 5 minutes and 15 seconds. But
I have a lot of
boiling.
Yeah, but what you do is you get your water boiling before you put your egg in, so it's absolutely bubbling. Put your egg in, and 5 minutes 15 seconds. Put it out. Put in a little bit of cold water.
Okay.
So it don't boil it anymore. Then just take the top off. Cut your toast up into little soldiers and dab it in.
And the middle is
Why do you
still
have to take your top off? Why do you have to take your top off?
No, you cut the top off.
See, but I said between
perfect.
5. Yeah. So between 5 and 7 minutes.
The water's got to be boiling, but it used to be 3 minutes, but from cold.
Yeah.
So you put cold water, put the egg in, and as it was boiling up, then it was 3 minutes from when it started to bubble. But now get your water boiling, put it in, and it's 5 minutes 15 seconds. So 5 minutes 30, it will be too much.
Right.
So just be careful.
If I gave you a quiz question, Ian, and I said, and the answer was between 5 and 7 minutes, and I gave you the points for that because it is between 5 and 7 minutes.
Yeah.
Would you accept that as a right answer?
Yeah, absolutely. It is right. It is right. I have at least one boiled egg a week just like that, and I've nailed it. Even my girlfriend knows I'm the boiled egg man.
You're the boiled egg man.
I think that's what she calls me.
Does she time you, Ian, when you're boiling the egg? Is that how your girlfriend knows you're spot on, like at 5 minutes off?
Yeah, she knows after 5 minutes it's soft.
Yeah.
Are we still on eggs now, or are you going to edit that bit out?
Still on eggs.
So I've given the points to Nick at 3 minutes. I think he's the closest one to the accurate answer, which is 4. I'd take on your explanation.
It's a travesty, Dave. It's a travesty.
It's a good explanation, Ian.
Or to appeal to the match review panel.
Won't bother you getting over.
Another 4 minutes.
Yeah, they'll add another 4 minutes. Frivolous. It was a frivolous appeal.
It's now 9 minutes to boil your egg.
Yeah, the RFL panel have agreed.
Unless you boil them if you're boiling them at stains, then it'll be rescinded and it will be 3 minutes.
That's it. Yeah. Yeah, you get an extra egg.
Yeah. Get an Easter egg.
I've got a feeling this debate may continue, but it's definitely 4 minutes. Your egg will be slightly harder than it needs to be, Ian, at 5 minutes 15. So you went, well, after now, see, it's educational as well. You revise how you cook your eggs now. You'll do one at 4 minutes. So I've totted up the scores whilst you were debating that answer. And we've got, it's quite close, actually. There's, sorry, James, you've just missed out there. You've got 4 marks.
Well, to my
but the guys are only 1 mark ahead here. We've got Keith, Nick and Ian all tied on 5 marks. And Mark, you've absolutely smashed it. 8 marks. Well done. Well done, Mark. You've won the quiz. 2023.
Danners.
Right, when you got the answer.
Gunners, you've won a boiled egg from Dave Pye.
Yeah, you've won salmonella.
I wouldn't risk eating it. No,
Yeah.
I'll post it over to Bradford.
And the 2023 Can't Cook Won't Cook from Ian Smith.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, you're right.
Well, I'd like to thank all our guests. You know, the Dockhouse Rugby Show is heading into its 3rd official season. And, you know, we've got lots of great stuff planned and lots of good content to come. So for everybody that has helped us out, and, you know, a lot of the guests are here today as well, who've been on and supported us and supported the show, from me and Dave, you know, thank you very much. Every guest, and, you know, we love to hear your stories. We love to hear your opinions. We're grateful of the time that you give to us to come on and have a chat and tell your stories, or just give us some insight into the world of rugby league that we don't always see. And that's a lot of time, that's some of the things that we look for and that we like, because everybody loves it, but everybody also wants to know, you know, what happens off the pitch, you know, all the other little bits sometimes as well, or the mentality or the theory that goes into it.
I'm very grateful for you guys giving up your personal time to come along. Really genuinely hope you've enjoyed it and had a bit of fun whilst we're doing it. And hopefully in our small way, it helps promote the game a little bit and people enjoy it. So, yeah, once again, thank you very much, and a very successful 2023 to you all.
Don't forget, after tonight's show, leave your views in our comments section. We'd love to hear from you. The Dockhouse Rugby Show is proud to support the Teardrops homeless charity. Teardrops, supporting your community.